Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today. My name is Kaohu. I'm a sales engineer with the Sage Construction and Real Estate team. Today, we'll be providing a high-level overview of our Sage Paperless solution can harness the power of your mobile device to save your company time and money, specifically in regards to managing your credit card receipts out in the field. A few housekeeping items before we begin today. Today's broadcast will be recorded. For those who have registered, it will be sent to you via email probably the following day once the system has rendered the recording. So keep an eye out on your email. That way you can cascade it out to your team or review the information that we've gone over today. You may use the question and answer section within your GoToWebinar solution to ask any questions all throughout today's presentation, as I'll be addressing those at the very end, and leaving a few minutes at the very bottom of the hour to answer those questions in addition to any others that may have come up. And to start off today, I want to provide a few slides with some context to Sage Paperless and managing your credit card receipts in the field. In today's environment, everyone is connected by some type of mobile device or smartphone. We want to leverage that availability to empower your employees to capture pictures of credit card receipts. Right now, your company may have employees with company credit cards. Managing that process efficiently is where our Managed Credit Card Receipts feature in Paperless can help. Your employees will use their phones to capture the receipts and have those route or save into Paperless for processing. As we take a look at the overall landscape of Sage Paperless, we can provide some context as to where those credit card receipts will come in. So right now you're familiar with the Sage Paperless solution and integrating back to your Sage accounting system, whether that's 100 Contractor or 300 CRE. All of your invoice processing and coding is done through your AP flow within Paperless, and that's where we'll be jumping over to Paperless later on to see where these receipts come in. We also can use our doc route feature within Sage Paperless to route and approve captured credit card receipts if your company has a workflow in place to have those verified before invoicing or payment. Much like your Sage Paperless solution, all of this will reside with your on-premise solution alongside of your accounting. The cloud services that we'll be taking a look at today, more specifically, will be eCapture. That app-based solution allowing your users in the field to take a snapshot of that credit card receipt, fill out a few required fields, and then get that pushed back into Sage Paperless for indexing, archiving, and coding, as well as invoicing through your AP flow. A few of the other options that we have for our cloud services is eCapture's big brother, eForms, a highly customizable app-based solution that allows you to customize specific forms based upon what you need out in the field. And the other most popular cloud service is our ePortal, allowing your users to verify and approve invoices out in the field, as well as a few other options as of the most recent release. All of this will be web-based as they're true extensions of your on-premise paperless solution. And with that, let's jump on over into Sage Paperless. So what I have right here is my Sage Paperless Dashboard. Already familiar with how I'm maneuvering in and out and doing my day in and day out processing through my AP flow. Now, I'm going to go ahead and pull up my phone here and show you what your eCapture will look like directly from the field. So for your project manager, owner, or overall company credit card holder, they'll have eCapture installed to their phone or mobile device. You'll start to notice that throughout the presentation, this process goes by fairly quickly, and that's on purpose. We want to make sure that these apps are not only easy to use, but also effectively used. We all know that in this day and age, people want simple yet powerful tools, making all the necessary information within eCapture accessible, but also easy to maneuver and manage. As I log in with my email address and password, I'm going to be prompted for some standard paperless information as well as document types. The 4 document types listed are set already within eCapture, being job photo, credit card receipt, AP receiving ticket, and invoice. We'll be focusing mainly today around our credit card receipt. Once I hit begin, the system is prompting me for specific fields based upon the document type I've selected. In this case, for a credit card receipt, I'm asked to select the credit card that's currently in my hand, so this can be one or many credit cards depending upon the user and their security permissions back to Paperless. I can simply hit my MasterCard and type in the name of the vendor that I have on the receipt in front of me. The transaction date on the receipt looks to be August 24th, 2015. And the transactional amount. At minimum, these 4 fields are what the system uses to match these receipts to the transactions we'll be taking a look at for my credit card statement. You can add additional items as well in regards to job number, cost code, PO number. I can type that in, as well as GL account equipment number and equipment cost code. In my notes field, I can provide some details as to what I bought with the receipt. I can type in my notes or simply use my talk to text. Receipt for stuff and things, total items of 2. Once I've got my notes in, I can hit my camera icon, take a snapshot of my receipt. Once everything ties out and looks good to me, I can go ahead and hit submit. You'll also see that I have a folder option, which is essentially my camera roll. So rather than taking the picture and submitting the receipt right at that moment in time, I can take pictures throughout the day of different receipts and then submit those at the very end of the day, calling back to my camera roll. But once everything looks good to me, I can hit submit, and it fires that back to the Sage Paperless server for indexing and coding. So I can do this for one receipt, many receipts, all coding and indexing and archiving back to my Paperless server. So as that's being done throughout the day or the week, me back in the office can now reconcile that information back to my credit card statement. Now, where that's done directly within Paperless is through our credit card importer. So we can take a look at our credit card importer, and when we're pulling in that file from our credit card vendor, Sage Paperless supports the most common files that are currently out there today, specifically being files designated as Microsoft Money, Quicken, QuickBooks, and of course the most common, CSV. Simply selecting that file from my bank, hitting open, and I'm now looking at my credit card statement and all the reconciled transactions that have hit that credit card. You can see that I also have the date, amount, and the name of that credit card that was used and the vendor where I pulled the actual amounts from. I can filter this information by date, amount, what have you, by name, making it easier for me to select which receipts I'm looking to add to my invoice. You'll also see some receipts in bold and some that are not. What this is calling to is Sage Paperless's learning capabilities in terms of your receipts. So you can see that this has Best Buy and some kind of weird number and a location. I can condition Sage Paperless to right click and tell it what it actually is. This is just Best Buy. But let's say you have a location where there's multiple Home Depots perhaps, where I know that this specific location, HomeDepot.com, is online, or I can override the name and give it something else. Home Depot on Cornell Road. So anytime now that I pull in transaction files from my credit card vendor and it sees that specific Home Depot in that line item, it'll automatically change that to me, what it means most to me. So I can see Home Depot on Cornell Road, that's exactly the one that I kind of designated last month for my transaction. As I'm correcting those, Sage Paperless is learning those vendor names specifically to that transaction that may have pulled in from the bank. Once I've selected which receipts I want to add to my invoice, I can create that by transferring my lines. This is then dropping those lines into an invoice at the very, very top. And I can continue to add additional information to my invoice, specifically the credit card that I used, and the invoice number itself. Putting in my invoice date, CC number if needed, and now when I hit match receipts, it's querying the Sage Paperless database for any documents that have that date, that amount, and that name attached to it as well. Once I hit match receipts, look into the system, and it pulled up the one receipt for Vistage. There it is, matching all that information, and I can see that it didn't pull in a few and it couldn't find some other receipts, which is fine. It could be that when the original user used eCapture, they put in $13.98. So although the amount didn't type perfectly, I can always add that later on if need be. This is essentially doing most of the heavy lifting for you and putting the responsibility of the coding back on the user who originally submitted it through eCapture, freeing you up time in the office to do what you need to do best. So once all of that looks good, I can create my invoice, or I can create multiple invoices depending upon if I have multiple different credit cards. Some clients just highlight all the transactions to create one invoice, or they break it out by different credit cards, MasterCard, Visa, Amex. It's really up to you and how your company does their workflow. Once all of that's submitted back into AP Flow, going into my Enter Invoices, I will see these receipts reside under my Incomplete. Selecting my AP vendor for my credit card, and there's my receipt. So you'll see that Paperless will create its own document for that specific invoice based upon the actual transaction you selected from your statement. When I pull up Edit Invoice, any codings that were already added via eCapture will pull into those invoice lines and add them to the invoice itself. At this point, all I really need to do as the processor is verify or edit or add any additional code lines to account for these receipts. I can also take a look at the document section to verify additional receipts or any other documentation that has to be attached for these receipts. I can also remove selected, add selected, any other types of documents I may want to attach to this credit card receipt, I can. And at this point, I can hit Route or Approve following my usual AP Flow processing and coding and routing and approval. Now, I also mentioned the doc route piece that you may want to consider as well when using the eCapture for credit card receipts. When using Sage Paperless in doc route, you have the option to route these credit card receipts out for approval to specified users. So you could say that depending upon that credit card receipt, using doc route, I have routing rules in place that says anytime a receipt is submitted by Koohu, it goes to his manager, Keith, for approval. I can then track how that receipt is going throughout the system using my route notes audit log and verifying that Keith has put an approved stamp on it using our annotation notes, as well as uploaded his signature into Paperless and signed off on the receipt. So now it looks like to me everything is checked off and I can hit approve as Keith. I can also use DocRoute to route and approve any additional non-accounts payable documentation. This is a common workflow for clients looking to optimize and streamline the actual credit card receipt approval process without interrupting the invoice and payments themselves. Now also we want to highlight that although these are being indexed and valued for invoicing and coding, once those receipts are captured within eCapture, we can easily find them directly within the system through our database. So I can pull up credit card receipts and take a look at all of these different receipts for today. There's a picture of some additional receipts that I've submitted and saved, all within the system and easily findable. And if these receipts are coded with job information, they are then available and showing up in my attachment sync back in my accounting system. For example, for 300 CRE, back on my job perhaps, I can quickly pull up my job setup. Oops, sorry about that. Hitting attachments, pulling up my window to view. And in querying my Sage Paperless database through my attachment sync, I can take a look at all my documents, but also pulling up any credit card receipts that may have been saved to that job. So whether you're in Sage Paperless or within accounting for 100 Contractor or 300 CRE, I can easily find these receipts if they need to be searched for and absolutely reconcile those back for any audit log or archiving purposes. And you'll see in terms of use, like I said, it's fairly quick and it's meant to be that way. eCapture is providing you an efficient and ease of use so that your users out in the field can adopt this workflow quickly and easily. Onboarding this specific workflow so your users back in the office can use that time efficiently for what they can do best, rather than hunting down receipts and tracking down employees day in and day out or week after week. Instantly saving those receipts back into paperless allows you to now free up those users in the field to do what they do best and free up some time for you back in the office, removing any type of headache of reconciling statement to receipt and giving your overall owners peace of mind knowing that they don't have to worry about reconciling on misuse of credit cards or any missing type of receipts or documentation. Now, if today's presentation resonated with you, or you think there's a user in your office that may take advantage and love eCapture for Sage Paperless, contact our team today at cresales@sage.com or 1-800-858-7095. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions you have about functionality, implementation, or pricing. And I'll hang on here for a few more minutes in case there's any other questions that may have come up throughout today's presentation. And if you have any other questions or would like to reach out to me, take note of the information above. And like I said, today's presentation will be sent out as it was recorded, either today or tomorrow morning probably, to everyone who's registered, so you can distribute that throughout your company. If you're taking off for now, thank you very much for joining us and have a great rest of your day.